Hi everybody, welcome back to the Flannel Channel. I'm Philip, and I'm glad you're here. Today, quick, short episode, but I'm going to be working on the interior of my truck. It's the 79 F-150 that my sons and I slammed onto a Crown Victoria. And it's still kind of loud in the interior. This exhaust kind of drones on. And so I'm going to be using some SecondSkin audio to try and quiet this thing down and make it a little bit more enjoyable to drive down the road. So hope you'll join with me. Should be cool. Stick around. Here we go. So one of the things I'm going to be doing here today is working on putting some insulation along the back wall behind the seats of this thing and also up above the headliner. And this is already kind of a cardboard type of deal, but I know I can make it even better in here. I already have sound deadening on the floor and the firewall of this truck. I've been driving it daily all summer long. I love this thing. You'll see that's kind of why it's dirty and stuff like that. It's because I put miles on this thing. I drive it all the time. I absolutely love it. And so I'm going to leave everything stock and original from the bar up inside this truck, but from there down I'm going to be putting some more sound deadening. Here's the product I'm going to be using. Like I mentioned, SecondSkin automotive insulation. It's made in America, family owned, veteran run. The stuff is awesome. I'm using their Dynapro pack. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And I'm going to be wearing gloves because there are some sharp edges here, but butyl with a little bit of foil. It's awesome stuff. And so that is what's going to help keep a lot of that heat and a lot of that noise out of the interior of this thing. As you can tell from where the bed lies, the cab and the truck are bolted together. I don't know if you can see that as well, but I basically made it all into one big unibody, and that's a big part of why I'm getting so much noise. In the second part of what I plan to do today, we're going to drop this headliner down, and we're going to put the blanket that I'm going to be putting up above. And SecondSkin was so nice, they sent us some stickers and some foil tape as well. And that nice insulated blanket is not only going to keep noise, but it's also going to keep heat from getting through the roof of this truck and make it a lot more enjoyable for my wife and I to go for cruises. So let's get to it, because yeah, we even have some anti-rattle tape we've been using in there, because this thing, you know, with a roll bar, it does make quite a bit of racket. So let's try and cut down on some of that. And a different day, I want to be taking care of some of this wiring. It doesn't bother me to see wiring and wire harnesses, but I plan to clean all this up and put some nicer looking loom, some wrap around it, zip tie it up a little bit more firmly, and attach it to the floor of the truck. So yeah, big project, but it's the weekend, and it's never gonna get done if I don't get started on it. So here we go. And like I mentioned, the safest way is to actually wear some gloves like this, and I have some scissors that are kind of a heavy industrial scissors, and you can actually trim this stuff up because it is really, really easy to work with. Love it. So I'm gonna start by just laying some panels in there and seeing what I need to trim in order to make it fit as squarely as I possibly can on that back wall. All right, so I'm gonna have to apologize up front for the low production quality on this. I am by myself right now, just working out in the driveway. So just me and my cell phone. Glad you're here. All right, so obviously these are nice, big, solid pieces, and I want to try and use them as efficiently as I possibly can. And so obviously we already have some areas where these things would fit really, really nicely. And if I don't cover every single square inch of that back wall, I think that'd be okay. But I'm gonna try and make a decision right now. Do I go horizontal with them? Do I go vertical with them? Looks like I have 14 of these pieces to work with, which is awesome. That should be plenty. So I'm gonna do my best to cover this as efficiently as I can, and I should still have some left over to go inside my doors. That's awesome. All right. Yeah, let me just start by peeling that off. I'll make sure that the back wall is probably just wiped down with some glass cleaner and a rag. There's really not that much grease or dirt back here. It's more just kind of dust from driving all summer long. I actually asked my daughter if she would help me fill in for just a second here, so thank you for doing that, sweetheart. What I decided is, because my roll bar is across the back wall of the truck. It actually does make some contact. That's part of where some of my noise is coming from. I want to get some second skin insulation between the bar and the back wall of the truck. So I'm using my pry bar to pry out on the back wall of the truck. And I'm going to use these little plastic wedge blocks that I have in my door unlock kit. And I'm going to try and wedge those up inside there enough to allow me to get some insulation behind there. There we go. Now I can work my way along and I can slide this stuff up behind just like that. That is going to be slick. It's going to take a little effort. I'll have to be cautious, take my time, but you see what I'm doing there? Nice. Okay, and then I can peel it back and pull down and then just mush it up against the back wall, just like that. I can overlap my second skin panels if I need to, but to try and be as efficient as I can, I'm gonna slide them up and just barely overlap them, and I can punch holes for my bolts. Awesome. All right. Here we go. Got it trimmed up, kind of level and equal across the top like I wanted. I'm happy with that. That stuff sticks so nice, and I think that's going to definitely cut down on a lot of the resonance in here. So cool. All right, time to focus on the roof now. All right, check that out. So there is some up there from the factory. I did not know that, but I'm gonna put the better stuff in. Well, this is probably gonna suck, but I gotta get that glue off. I really want to be able to stick Dynamat up here. So the sander it is. Woo, okay. Sucky part's over. Got the old glue down to bare metal or just primer and paint in a couple spots. Might skeet a little bit of something on there, but for sure I need to clean up all the dust. That's gross. If you're gonna do this, a mask and safety glasses and a nice breeze coming through the neighborhood. But got some cleanup to do now. Ugh, glad that's over. Little arts and crafts time. This is the plain cardboard that was up on my headliner, and I decided that I already own some spray adhesive. I'm gonna recover that, and I stopped at the store. It's actually Walmart, and they sell burlap, and this was 2 full yards of it. It's plenty to cover that. It's the color that I want. It's natural, and I think it's gonna fit right in and help with our sound ending and just look a little bit better than cardboard. So I'm also gonna take the opportunity and clean up my visors because they're looking pretty dingy. So yeah, just little stuff like this helps. And altogether it's gonna cost me like $8. So perfect. Nice even coating on that whole thing. Yeah. Cut the excess off and call it good. I wiped the worst of the dust off. It's not perfect, but just trying to help that glue stick as much as I can. So what I have here is the double-sided blanket for insulating up underneath my headliner, and so I'm going to use the headliner itself, cut it just a little bit larger than that, and that's going to tuck up inside the roof of the truck. So Sharpie, industrial scissors, piece of cake. I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try and get that blanket to tuck up inside that brace. See if I can make that happen. If not, I'll have to cut it into 2 separate pieces and then use the tape, but we'll find out. I don't know, man. That might be more work than it's worth. I might just cut it into 2 pieces and then tuck it in the middle. I think I'll do that. Cut it in half. Just came down to the family laundry room and a little bit of soap and water, scrub brush, some elbow grease. Those old visors clean up pretty nice. I like it. Yeah, here we are next morning, and I'm happy with how that turned out. You know? Pretty cool. Definitely not perfect, but I think it's gonna hold up just fine. And yeah, got my visors put back up. This visor I had to repair because it was already broken, the plastic or whatever, when we first got the truck. So I just used a little chunk of brake line in there, pushed it in because there's some metal clips that hold it in, and yeah, I think it's gonna work just fine. So pretty cool. All right, time to move on. So I've removed my door panel, obviously. I'm gonna be putting a little bit more of that American-made sound deadening on the inside of my door panels. And I'm gonna use some more of that insulated blanket on the back side of my Coverlay door panels themselves as well, just to try and add a little bit more insulation. And yeah, so American-made panels, American-made sound deadening on my American truck. Love that. It is very windy out here today. My apologies. I know I'm adding weight to the door, but that's part of how this stuff works. All right, I'm going to use some of my tape, go around the edges, and then I will cut circles out for my window regulator and my door handle. Yeah, so I would say driving this thing, it is definitely more mellow and quiet, not so rattly and squeaky, which having a roll bar in this thing definitely makes things more rattly and squeaky. It's just the nature of the beast. But for an old squeaky farm truck from the 70s, I'm really, really happy with it. I drive this thing to work every single day, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. I've had a couple of passengers in the interior with me after doing all this sound deadening and things like that, and they have commented that they think it's a lot quieter too. So I'm pleased. You can tell I haul plywood with this thing. I'm going to work right now. Yeah, I use it like an actual pickup. So give SecondSkin a chance. I think you're going to be impressed with it. SecondSkin Audio, you know, it's made here in the United States of America. It's owned by a family. It's run by veterans. It's got the highest safety ratings. If you want to see the video where I install this stuff on the floor and the firewall in my truck, go check that out. That's in the playlist. And I actually started off that video by making a huge mistake. I put the wrong stuff on my floor that was toxic from getting hot. So yeah, lesson learned on that. Don't do what I did. But check out SecondSkin. Yeah, stuff is awesome. And eventually I'll probably put carpet down on this thing and clean up my wiring and things like that. But headliner turned out pretty good too. I mean, I probably could have spent more time and money on it, and it turned out even better. But I'm happy, and I did it myself. So yeah, rock on. Hey, thanks for coming along, everybody. I appreciate you supporting the channel and learning right along with me as I learn how to do this stuff and figure it out as I go. So yeah, keep getting out there, building stuff, and make mistakes, learn along the way, have some fun. Peace and grace.